Welcome to this online interview tutorial. In this tutorial, we will guide you through how to be best prepared for a successful interview. We will provide you with the following information in order to help improve your interview skills. First, the importance of and how to successfully prepare for an interview will be covered. Second, you will see example behavioral-based questions and general interview questions that may be similar to those you will face. Thirdly, you will learn what the core competencies are and how you can prepare for questions relating to them. Finally, this tutorial will review general do's and don'ts of interview etiquette. The goal of the resume is to get an interview, and the goal of the interview is to get the job. First and last impressions do count. It is generally understood that the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes of an interview are the most important. An interview is much like an exam, in the sense that it is part of a larger picture, as the result depends heavily on preparation. The preparation process is the most important, and you should invest the majority of your time into preparing for the interview itself. The interview, just like sitting down for an exam, is not going to be successful without preparation. At least 50% of your efforts should be going into preparing, researching the department and studying the job description. 40% of your efforts should go into the interview itself, and the remaining 10% should be effort put in after the interview by following up and self-evaluating. Get to know your prospective department as well as you can ahead of time. This will allow you to answer questions or make references that shows your knowledge of the company and its situation, and how you would be a good fit. Good research shows you care about the department and the position. The references you make about the university should be positive and subtle. After you have established some knowledge of the department, you should have touched on major issues, such as departmental issues, chain of command, department ideologies, career paths and growth, and department general future direction. It is important to also study the job description by closely looking at the required skills and find clues to what questions the interviewer might ask. Rehearsing for the interview is very important in the preparation process. Firstly, you should write down sample questions that may be asked and prepare brief and informative answers that are concise and confident. Then you can rehearse with other people, allowing them to come up with their own questions. You should also prepare questions that you want to ask the interviewer. These should be centered around the position and/or department you are applying to. The more you rehearse, the more relaxed you will be at the actual interview. You can rehearse a firm handshake and focus on your body language. Avoid crossing your arms or tense expressions. Eye contact may help you feel more confident and comfortable with the interviewer. We will now go on to look at different types and examples of questions that may be asked in an interview to enhance your preparation. These are 2 sample questions that may be asked as opening interview questions. You may be asked to outline your previous position and how it has prepared you for the position at hand. You may also be asked to talk about any relevant education or training. Common questions asked in an interview are behavioral questions. These are based on the premise that the best way to predict a person's future behavior is to ask about their past behavior. Here are 3 examples of how behavioral questions begin. Tell me about a time when you. Describe the last time that you. Give us an example of a time when you. The framework that is most effective in answering behavioral-based questions is called STAR-D. This stands for situation, task, action, result, and different. Begin by explaining the situation. Detail the background and content. This will answer the where and the when. Then describe the challenge and expectations of the task, or what needed to be done and why. For action, you should elaborate on your specific task or actions, answering what did you do, how, and with what tools. Then you will explain the results of your action, whether it be an accomplishment, recognition, or saving. Finally, the D step is used to tell the hiring manager what you would have done differently in the same situation if you did not achieve your desired result. The majority of job descriptions at Carleton University will include the following 6 core competencies: teamwork, personal effectiveness, proficiency, developing solutions, productivity, and customer service. These are what you should focus on during your preparation, and prepare multiple examples that could be used for each. Something specific that an interviewer may be looking for is an applicant's ability to foster teamwork. This is their ability to develop and maintain productive working relationships with others. For organizational leaders, this also includes the ability to develop cooperative and coordinated work teams to achieve optimal collective results. An example of a behavioral-based question that could be asked regarding teamwork is, tell us about a time when you had to teach a team member a new skill and describe how you went about this task. The next ability we will look at is personal effectiveness. An interviewer may be looking for an applicant with the ability to effectively respond to job challenges by demonstrating initiative, composure, adaptability, and integrity. An example of a behavioral question regarding personal effectiveness that may be asked is, when dealing with people, what do you perceive to be your strongest skill? Describe a time that illustrates this. Proficiency is the ability to continuously demonstrate the required depth, breadth, and application of job-related knowledge and specialized skills. An interviewer may ask you to describe your education and training to evaluate your proficiency. An employer may be interested in your ability to effectively solve problems and develop solutions. The standard answer to common problems is a routine, which is not difficult to give. However, the payoff is to come up with a unique and novel situation and develop a solution that can be applied to common problems. An interviewer may ask, what was the problem? What solution did you come up with? What factor did you consider in coming up with your solution? And how did the problem finally get resolved? Productivity is the ability to efficiently deliver quality products and services by demonstrating prioritization, planning, and organization skills, along with commitment to quality and commitment to efficiency. You may be asked in an interview to tell about a time when you looked for ways to increase productivity and improve services. Finally, employers of specific jobs may be interested in your ability to satisfy customer needs and expectations, jobs involving customer service. You may be asked in this situation, what does excellent customer service mean to you? Give an example of how you've practiced this in your daily work. You should have a selection of examples prepared that you can use to demonstrate your skills. Questions relating to your skills should not be answered by repeating the contents of your resume. Rather, take the time to itemize the main skills that are directly related to the interview and the job at hand, and rehearse these skills before the interview. Your answers should be brief and concise. It is acceptable to tell short stories that provide entertaining examples of things you have learned. For questions about education and training, you should be sure to focus on things that you learned and that will likely come in use for this new position. It is likely that you will be asked an unexpected question during an interview, and it is important to realize that they can have different purposes when they are asked by different interviewers, and you should not be thrown off by them. Instead, consider the possible motives of the interviewer in asking these questions. For example, questions pertaining to bias against minorities, women, people with disabilities, age-related questions, questions about your family situation, or other private matters that you feel irrelevant to the job. If you find a question inappropriate, you may choose not to answer by politely declining or changing the topic of conversation. But be sure to contact an HR advisor immediately following your interview to discuss the question that was asked. A couple of reminders. Be sure to account for unforeseen delays and leave early enough that you arrive 10 to 15 minutes before your scheduled interview, and no later. An interview should be properly closed by you restating your interest and desire for the position. Finally, summarize your relevant skills and thank the panel for the opportunity to present yourself. We will now finish off with some general do's and don'ts for interviews. Do remove excess jewelry and non-traditional body piercings. Do be conscious of your manners, for example, your smile, handshake, eye contact, and have open and confident body language. Do be well groomed and dress conservatively. Again, when in doubt, err on the side of being too conservative. For men, this includes a neat and clean suit, dress pants, a dress shirt, and a tie. And for women, a professional image is presented through a neat and clean pant or skirt suit, or dress pants or a skirt with a dress shirt. Men and women should both minimize or eliminate perfumes. This will ensure a professional image is presented. On the other hand, it is important that you never ask questions pertaining to expected benefits and do not ask how you did at the end of an interview. Also, don't pressure the interviewer into telling you about your chances of getting the job, and don't ask the interviewer for other contacts unless it is directly suggested that you do so. Don't wait over 30 minutes for the interviewer, don't interrupt the interviewer, and don't ignore visual cues. If you are answering an interview question and the interviewer has put their pen down and is glancing at the clock, these are cues that you are missing the mark. Don't address any panel members by first name, and don't badmouth a former job under any circumstances. You might be 100% correct by saying that you didn't like a job, but this is too close to saying the job didn't like you. Don't make any jokes, as the interviewer wants the interview to go well, but don't be lulled into thinking they are your new best friend. A controversial joke will likely end your chances at a job. And finally, don't exaggerate your skills. In closing, make sure to smile lots, relax as much as possible, and have a prepared reference list with your name and contact information included. We will now go over some of the most important points to take away from this tutorial. First of all, keep in mind that researching is key. Focus on the 6 core competencies: teamwork, personal effectiveness, proficiency, problem solving, productivity, and customer service. These will be included in the majority of job descriptions here at Carleton University. Prepare multiple examples to assist in answering the behavioral-based questions, and remember the STAR-D format when answering them. Finally, refer to the interview strategies document prior to your interview for review. Thank you for watching, and good luck on your upcoming job searches. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact a Human Resources Advisor at hr_advisory@carleton.ca. Was this tutorial helpful? In order for Human Resources to continue to provide the best service possible to you in the future, we would very much appreciate feedback from you.